Hey, this is C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my Bellator 64 post-fight analysis. Unfortunately, I didn't get to check much of the undercard, except for Mike Richmond knocking out Chris Hordecki in the first round, and that's a pick I got wrong. As far as picks go, I really shit the bed with the picks. So bad, my bed's right here, and it's smelling, man. But I got 5 out of 10 right, but 1 of 4 of the main card. The thing is, it really gets to show me moving forward what to look out for even more. For example, like not looking at too much hype, looking at like Japanese fighters, and how they do in the U.S., just stuff like that. So pretty much just go over the main card here, and I can't really go over the undercard. But as far as this Bellator 64, the main card went, I have to admit it was a bit flat to me. It's all decisions. I thought Sandro versus Bezeha would be a lot more exciting. It was more like they were really just kind of like doing a sparring match until the third round a little. It was really wrestling and grappling heavy, which isn't too bad, but there wasn't a lot of fights. You didn't really see too many guys really try to finish, so that's a problem as well. So let's get right to it. Ben Askren beat Douglas Lima by unanimous decision to retain the welterweight title. Mind me not to do a biased pick anymore. I like Lima. He's a great fighter. It's just that Ben Askren is a much greater wrestler. I missed this pick. I should have picked Askren. To go back to the prediction video, the thing is, I hate to be like, oh, my guy lost, so I'm trying to cover for myself. I'm not trying to do that. This is what happened, and this is actually what I said in the prediction video as well. Lima, I question his takedown defense, I question his cardio, and I questioned him because he's so content off his back. Ben Askren, his good cardio, awesome top control, thrives in the scramble, and he saw it all. That's the thing. Anyone outside of the UFC, outside of like maybe Jay Haran, welterweight-wise, I can't see anyone outside the UFC or Strikeforce, beating Ben Askren. Or how about Zuffa? Outside of Zuffa beating Ben Askren at this time, they just don't have the wrestling or the counter wrestling and that ability to just get back to their feet. Just the right game plan against Ben Askren. And that's the thing. Lima had one right idea, threaten with the uppercut. And he was doing that, but Askren's got a good chin. You got to say, every time he shot in, he'd eat something. He ate like an uppercut. I think he ate a knee at one time. He just keeps going. I mean, I think it was somewhere around like the third or fourth round. I was saying, don't like be within clinch range with this guy. And there's times when Lima, I remember he reversed. It's like, don't even get on top of this guy, because he thrives in that scramble, and that's the thing. And one other thing I really like about Askren is his submission defense is really good. I mean, this guy, he's a master of stacking. It amazes me how well he is at stacking his opponent. That's the thing with Askren. And his ability to transition from one takedown to the next, really good. His cardio is really good. His striking's still atrocious. I mean, that's the thing. I'd imagine that someone's eventually gonna catch him into striking. It's just that no one, except like Jay Haran was the closest, outside of Zuffa, really can defend a takedown. The thing with Lima, like I said, didn't get back to his feet. One thing is, with a guy like Askren, it's like, even if he gets in a dominant position, he's not, I mean, besides that Darce choke he tried around the middle of the fight, he's not a finisher. I always question, I'm not a fighter, but I always kind of question, it's like, get the underhook, scramble back to her feet, even if you temporarily give up your back. I have to wonder why fighters won't do that. Is it that taboo? Is it just something that fighters don't want to do? I don't even know if you'd. No, yeah, you'd kind of give up your neck, kind of leave your neck exposed or your back exposed if you do something like that. The thing is, with Askren, though, I mean, he can really take down anybody. His top control, it's just really good. A lot of people criticize Ben Askren's fighting style. I kind of gotta agree with Askren. If no one can defend it, then he should keep doing it. I like that he has no illusion about what he is in MMA. A lot of people don't like him. I'm actually fine with him, to be honest. That it's just it's not for everyone. His fighting style is not for everyone. I like that he's active. I like that he tries to actively pass guard. It's not like he's stalling or trying to stall. He just doesn't have the finishing ability. Looking at the other welterweights, there's Baker in the Bellator tournament. Baker, Saunders, Amasu, Rickles. I don't think Baker has anything for him if he somehow fights Askren. Rickles, he showed some power, and he's actually trained under a Muay Thai guy, if I'm not mistaken, but his ground game's good. Once again, Askren at this point I think he's starting to become one of those guys you don't want to go to the ground with. That's the thing. Even if you're on top of him or if you're on the bottom, or especially if you're on the bottom. You just don't want to go to the ground with him anymore because of his ability to scramble, get back to his feet, sweep, and or reverse position. That's the thing. So, a guy like Rickles, I haven't seen much of his wrestling. I think he'd just get taken down if he tries to throw like his triangles or whatnot. I think you ask him to defend him. Same with Saunders. It's the same thing. I think Saunders would get taken down. He's gotten taken down by guys like Dennis Hallman and John Fitch. I think Askren would be able to do the same. He'd probably pound him out. Saunders' game off his back is much improved. He uses a lot of rubber guard and whatnot. More high-risk submissions. Problem is, Askren's really good at stacking. He's really good at posturing up. So if you throw a triangle, you see Lima throw a triangle, he just postures up. I mean, really well, just really quickly. So that threat's gone. You put him in a leg lock position. I mean, he's very aware. That's the thing, of where to go in a certain position, and that's pretty dangerous of Askren. So Saunders, Amasu, his is interesting, but like, he has really strong judo. It's just, I don't think he can defend a takedown either. That's the thing. I'd like to see more guys just scramble back to their feet against Askren and beat him up. Pretty much anyone can beat him up on their feet. It's just a ground game with him. But yeah, Ben Askren, he looked really good, and this Lima's a really tough opponent. Good win for him. Next fight after that, Sandro beat Alexandro. I think it's Alejandro. I'll just say Alexander Bezeja by split decision. This was definitely one of those fights. I was expecting a lot more. It was pretty much the same, like leg kicks. Sandro would throw a left, right. Bezeha counter left. It's just a lot of that the whole fight. Jimmy Smith made it a point to really point that out too. Which is true though. He wasn't off the mark or anything like that. But these guys are a lot more explosive than that. It's gonna be pretty interesting with this featherweight tournament too. So I know, there's who's in there? There's like Daniel Straus, Mike Corey's in this tournament as well. So one of these, or Sandro is gonna fight a wrestler next. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how that works out. And also, both those guys are just huge. Straus and Corey are just freaking huge guys. That's the thing. He didn't look particularly impressive in this fight. Striking's still really good. He's so quick. It's kind of weird with Sandro. He's good defensively sometimes, but then he has lapses in his defense other times as well. He saw it a lot in the third round. I think he gets into like kind of a brawling mode, and that's his problem. As far as like how Sandro would do against Straus or Corey, it's so tough to say. It's a stylistic matchup. It's wrestler versus like the striker / Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy. Probably favor Sandro a little, but it's a interesting stylistic matchup for sure. Next fight after that, Travis Marks beat Masukatsu Ueda by unanimous decision. This fight really showed me a lot. It's something that is said, I definitely didn't point out. One is like the training in Japan. Two, it's a Japanese guy going to the U.S. and just getting acclimated. I'm not trying to make excuses for Ueda. This is just what I heard. Marks won pretty unanimously. There was, and if they rematch again, I would pick Travis Marks to beat him again. So don't get the wrong idea with what I'm saying here. Marks was the better wrestler here. He's a much bigger fighter as well. He had the right game plan going in as well. Ueda, he didn't look very good. It's just one of those things where, and I'll admit to it, I fell for the hype. He was like a top 10 bantamweight. He fought in Shooto and beat some good guys. He beat Dantas, So that's the thing. Bantamweight's interesting now because Marks is a pretty big bantamweight, and considering if he goes up against someone like Makovsky, for example, I'm actually picking Dantas to win, but just saying, it's like the size difference is going to be, and they're both like, they both wrestle. It's going to be really interesting. I'm curious to see what else Marks has. I know he has a lot of submission victories under his belt as well. It seems like he was a little more content to just wrestle and grind in this fight. I'm curious to see what he has moving forward. And finally, Hiroshi Nakamura beat Rodrigo Lima by unanimous decision. This is actually a really interesting fight in the sense of judging and how MMA scoring is evaluated. It really is a case of Lima doing more from the bottom than Nakamura doing more from the top. But really, the stuff that Lima was doing from the bottom really didn't seem to matter much. That's the thing. He got close. He's going for triangles, arm bars, omoplatas, leg locks. And he's just going for everything. And Nakamura, a little bit of ground and pound, mainly defense. But Nakamura's on top. He wins the fight. This is definitely one of those fights where it's like, I personally feel that like the guy on the bottom should have probably won, or like not won, but just like got more points. for working on the bottom and actually trying to finish. You know, that's the thing. Granted, though, Lima's game plan was terrible. Though it's like, stay away from the fence. So what does he do? Rushes forward, throws punches, gets into clinch range, and gets it back against the fence. And it's like, you connected like with one or two of those punches, but it's like he went in like a straight line, and it's like you can't do that against a guy that's trying to just take you down. You don't go in straight lines, you move laterally. That's the thing. You initiated the distance for Nakamura to initiate like the clinch and get the takedown. That's the thing. So Lima definitely has some fault here. However, once he was taken down, though, I personally felt that he was just doing a lot more from the bottom than Nakamura was doing on the top. If Nakamura goes up against Marks, Nakamura didn't look like a big bantamweight to me, and Travis Marks did. I'd pick Travis Marks. I believe the way it's like Ed West, Marcus Galval. So that should be interesting. And I forgot the other. I think it's Alexis Vila and Luis Nogueira. Yeah. So the other guys on the other side of the bantamweight field are very interesting. Alexis Vila has the wrestling to do really well. He's a small bantamweight, though. Nogueira actually has a wrestling background. Marcus Galval, he actually has some really stout takedown defense. And it's primarily just a grappler. So you definitely got a lot of grappler heavy. Ed West, he has a lot of movement. I believe he has some wrestling ability or he does have wrestling ability. It's just, it's, what was I going to say? I just don't know his background, but I know he has wrestling ability as well. So you do definitely have a lot of guys in this bantamweight tourney that do have heavy grappling experience. Guys like Vila, Nogueira too, do have some power on the feet. Galvo and West, not so much. They haven't really showed that power on the feet, though. So it's a pretty interesting field right now. I'm curious to see how that's all going to play out. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my Bellator 64 post-fight analysis. If you have any comments, just leave them below. And that's it for MMA for you. Thank you very much.